All right, welcome back. We are going through another chapter of Move Over Extroverts. Today we're on chapter 3, the energy battery. And if you don't have your book yet, if you haven't read it yet, that's okay. No problem. You're still going to get a lot out of today's session. So for my notes for today, I want to run through the energy battery analogy first and foremost, and then open it up for discussion of some examples. And then encourage you guys to think about when you need to plug yourself into the wall, which you will understand in a minute. And then give you an exercise that we will either do together if we have time, or if not, you can do it for homework. Sound good? Sweet. All right. So the energy battery. This is my favorite analogy because it's very easy to understand because we are all obsessed with these, right? Not bald guys and cats, but telephones, cell phones. So, what's like one of the biggest, especially think about going to a conference, what's one of the biggest concerns is your phone battery dying. That's a big concern. And it's a big concern for a reason, because this thing only has a certain amount of battery life at any given time. We're the same way. I know I always say that we're humans and not robots, and that's true. And we do have something in common with the robots. We only have a certain amount of energy at any given time. It's finite. So it's really important to think about this in those terms, because if we don't, it's so much easier to just drain it all and get to zero, and then we're back to square one. So think about when you plug your phone into the wall at night and it charges all night and it gets to 100%. I know some of you have heard me say this before, but that's okay. It gets to 100%, and then as soon as you unplug it, it starts to go down just a little bit, little by little by little. If you don't plug it in, let's say you don't even look at it or open the phone for a week, the battery's going to drain. It might even die. I don't know how long. It depends on what kind of phone you have. But at a certain point, it's going to drain too much and die, even without you using it. And the more you use it, different things you do, different apps, takes different amounts of energy. It takes more or less of the battery power. Posting a video takes a lot more battery power than sending a simple text. What are the things in our lives and businesses that take more of our energy than the others? Just start thinking about that. I'm planting the seed for the exercise we'll do later. So this is the analogy. Think about your physical, mental energy. It's kind of a combo of both. And how much do you have right now? Out of 100. 100 is like maximum. I just plugged myself into the wall all night. I'm good to go. Put it in the chat if you want to share. What's your number right now in this moment? 0 is I probably can't even be on the Zoom right now, so I'm hoping none of you are at 0. All right, what do we have? We have a couple 80s. We have a 50. We have 95. Another 80. Zero judgment here. This is simply an awareness exercise. 85. Okay, 75. Perfect. As long as you stay above like a 20, 25% at all times, you're good. What tends to happen is if we go below that 20, 25%, on the phone, that's when the battery icon turns red and it's like, oh crap, phone's gonna die. We as humans don't have that. We don't have that tactical reminder, but you probably have some sort of reminder in your system. You probably have a tell or something that can give you an indicator that it's time to recharge. Does anyone know what their tell is? and would like to share? Okay, if you don't. Cheryl, yes.
I'll start to get irritable. I can totally tell when I'm getting out of juice is I just start getting grumpy and irritable. And I know I have to just like step away and, like I said, recharge.
Yeah, same. Margarita's the same. She says in the chat, she gets grumpy. Me too. And I'm aware of it enough now that I know when it's happening. And so I can identify why am I feeling so grumpy and why are these stupid little things that normally would not be a big deal, why are they affecting me more than normal? And I know now it's because I either need a rest or I need food. Patty, you said lose focus. That's an interesting one. Tell us about that.
Well, I know I can. I sometimes have to, being an introvert, I love getting work done. So when I'm checking off a list and check, I'm getting everything done on my to-do list. It makes me feel better and better and I actually recharged. But when I have those days where there's all those distractions going, you know, especially sitting here working from home, I have a kitten, I have a dog, think people come to the door. When I have those days when I'm like, feel like I haven't sat at my desk or stood at my desk, some days I stand for long enough and I just, I lose my focus, then I don't feel like I'm getting things done. And that's when I know I've just either got to stop and say, chalk this one up too. This day is not going to go anywhere. So that's pretty much when I know I lose focus. Some days you just have to just throw the towel in.
That's good. That's good. And I'm going to challenge the very last thing you said there, because it's not about throwing the towel in. It's knowing without judgment. It's knowing I have used up enough of my battery right now, and I need to go get more battery power so I can do more. So it's not a bad thing at all. It's simply awareness, which I know is very different from how it feels. Sharon, what you got?
Hi, everyone. I tend to, my energy level tends to stay high, and thinking about it in this context, um, possibly artificially high while I've got, I have a calendar full of stuff to do. I just have to go, go, go and get things done. And once I've got everything done, if I don't have immediate other things to get done, then I tend to completely lose my motivation to do anything. And, I sit on the couch and I'm like, in my head, I'm going, well, I should do this and I should do this. This is other stuff that's like less immediate, less critical. But I'm just like, no, I can't do it right now. I need some time to recoup.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. And sometimes it could be needing time, which again is not a bad thing. That's a very normal thing to need time. It also might just be getting off of that momentum train. I've experienced that before, where you're in the zone and you're doing all the things, and then all of a sudden you're not, and it's can be really hard to get back on track. So yeah, I hear you. Question in the chat. How do you not let something get to you? Had a situation like that, and for whatever reason, it hit hard. Do you want to tell us about the situation? You don't have to, though.
Okay. Seems done really silly. I guess it was silly.
I'm sure it's
Um,
not.
if so, I thought I was gonna have this lead be a client. I was doing what I thought was the right steps. I connected them with my lender. My lender was doing a full underwrite for them. And I know that's going to take 2 weeks, but I wanted to get a better idea of where they were at. So I reached out yesterday and I'm like, hey, let's set up a buyer consult. Like, let me talk over agency and all of that. And then they go ahead and like, I have a realtor. Um, and I know it's not like it's the first time, I guess, but it just hit me pretty hard for no reason. And I guess I just started having a downward spiral. Because I was starting wondering like what I did wrong. And I drafted up a professional response to it because I did all of the information that I was supposed to. I mean, I had concierge verified that she was not under agency with another agent. And I think I just started downward spiraling, despite it being a situation that happened before.
I have a couple thoughts on this. First is you didn't do anything wrong because you didn't even have the opportunity to meet with them. So this is not it feels personal. I know, I have been there. It feels very personal, and you have to just tell yourself that it's not. And a lot of times that is not going to work as well as we would hope, like the self-talk. So coming to a group like this, or going to a trusted advisor, or sliding into one of our DMs, or coming in our Facebook group, somewhere where you can say exactly what you just shared. Thank you for sharing that, by the way, because we have all been there. And just have that community of people rally around you and say, you didn't do anything wrong at all. You weren't even given the opportunity to have the meeting. So that's not on you. It's on them. There could be a million reasons why they picked someone else. What I would say is you already responded, so you don't have to do anything now. But in the future, you could respond. If you can get them on the phone, even better, and have a conversation and just say, oh, I'm surprised to hear that. I was under the impression you hadn't already hired an agent. Please let me know if anything changes. And if you phrase it like hired an agent, then sometimes they would say, well, we didn't actually hire someone. We just have, because that's the defining thing. Do they have a contract with this other person? Somebody had their hand raised. Go ahead and come off mute. I forget who it was.
It was me. I was going to say I'm dealing with a similar thing with this listing right now. I mean, we had this whole conversation and they didn't say anything about talking to anybody else. And then at the very last minute, he said, oh yeah, we've got other realtors that we're going to talk to. And I was like, wow, because it came in at the end of the listing presentation. So it was kind of a sideways thing that slid in there. And so I was like, oh, okay. So there wasn't really much we could do about it at that time, but I did just continue to act like, well, I'm still going to get this. In my head, I was like, I'm still going to get this. And then when I called them today, because they came back from vacation, it was the same kind of scenario. So he's talking to me and we're setting an appointment. And in my head, I'm like, oh, I got it. He wants to go over paperwork is what he wanted to do. And then he goes, yeah, but I'm also meeting with a Remax agent. And I was in my head, and then I went back to the wah, wah, wah. But I'm just trying to tell myself I'm not going to think that way. And I'm going to keep asking the same questions. The Remax agent, he said, hadn't gotten in touch with him yet. So I have one up on that. So we'll just hope. And here's the other thing that went through my head is like, why didn't I make the meeting sooner? Because he didn't tell me till after I booked the meeting for tomorrow at 2. He didn't tell me there was somebody else in line. So I was like, oh, I should have just said yeah to this afternoon, but I have plans for tonight. I didn't really want to ruin those. So yeah, there you go. That I think sometimes you just got to keep asking. There's my dog. Sorry. Just keep asking the questions.
Yeah, I agree. Asking the questions, and it's not over until somebody has a signed contract, which if they do, then move on next. Those were not your people. In a polite way, because you never know if they're not happy with their agent, which there's always a chance of that, they could circle back to you. So always leave things very polite, very professional, which I know you did. Yeah, I think there's an opportunity for these questions to be asked in the pre-qual stage as well. Are you meeting with other agents? Tell me about your plan for choosing an agent. what's going to be most important to you in hiring your agent, and get some feedback from them. And that way you'll know just across the board. It's tough when somebody else is vetting the lead though. And so you didn't, so in Sabrina's case, you didn't have the chance to do that. So I know it sucks. Shake it off. Next. If you wanted to be really bold, since it's a stranger, you might as well ask them for a referral. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I guess probably. I mean, she wasn't happy with the pre-approval that she got before, and she's seems to really like my lender.
Mm. Well,
I don't know. I think it was just strange and it caught me off guard.
totally.
And I think it was a series of situations. I think this particular lead was just the straw that broke the camel's back.
Mm.
Like my business partner and I, we're trying to figure out what we're doing wrong, essentially, where people just start ghosting us. Like, are we doing too much before we get that signed agreement?
Mm.
But I haven't figured out how to go about that yet.
I
But
wish we had more time on this particular call, but please consider joining us on the 4 o'clock calls. That's our paid group. That's more like intense group coaching. Those are an hour and they're even smaller. So we have more chance to like dive into specific scenarios. So I invite you to check out that group because that could be a really good space to get into more like business development conversations. But I do want to go back to your original question, which was, how do you move past the funk when something like that happens? Like, how do you get back into that motivation? I have my thoughts on this. Does anyone else want to share first before I jump into it? All right, my thoughts on this are you need to have some kind of system that's a reset. So this will look different for everyone, but maybe for homework, I'm really glad you brought this up because that's good homework for everyone, is to identify 1 or 2 reset buttons for yourself. For me, I need to move somehow. I need to get my butt to a yoga class. I need to go for a walk. Something in a different physical space and something that involves moving is a good reset for me. So think about what your reset could be to just get your energy in a different space. That is one differentiator between our energy and the phone battery is it's more nuanced and different things affect us. Yeah, Cheryl says her too. Go outside, that's a good one. That is a good one. All right, perfect. So when do you need to plug yourself into the wall? This is how I say, go recharge your battery. We talked about triggers. We talked about resets. What are some examples of things that you know either drain or recharge your energy? We don't have to go too far into this because we'll spend more time in future weeks on these exact ones. But is there any like very concrete example of something that you know is like a good recharge for you? And while some brave soul comes off mute, I'm going to grab the link for the group coaching because somebody asked me for it.
Massage for me. That's one of my biggest. This kind of get me realigned body wise and give my mind a break. So that's a great reset for me.
That's a great reset. I love it because it's something you can look forward to. And it's also kind of a challenge sometimes because you do have to plan in advance.
Yep, I love the massage. Also, I do yoga a couple times a week. And then again, just moving. I walk my dogs 2.5 miles every morning, and it just kind of gets that energy going. So something to get the body moving.
Yeah. Love it. That's fantastic. All right, I just put the link for the club in the chat if you guys want to check that out. All right, so, oh, a nap. I love a nap. Love a nap. And a Sudoku puzzle. I forgot that existed. I used to do those on airplanes, the Sudokus. I don't know how you say it. Self-care time, walking, nails, pedicure, massage, coffee with a friend, phone call with a friend. I'm saying all these out loud because if somebody watches the replay, I don't think they can see the chat. Quick nap, yep. All great suggestions. And again, we'll go deeper into this in a future week. But for now, start making your lists. If you guys want to be ahead of the game, you can start making these lists. And it's good to have a combo of things that you can just plug in anytime, like a nap, or something that you need to book out in advance, like a massage. Pedicures and nails, unless you have like a specific person, usually you can just pop in somewhere and get that done on the fly. All great suggestions. All right, keep an eye on the time here. The exercise that I want to do with you guys is to go through the past, start with the past week, and then for homework, do the past month. And look through your calendar and everything that's on your calendar, every meeting, every event that you're going to, everything you're doing in your personal life, write either a plus or a minus next to it. If you're working in a digital calendar like Google Calendar, this might be kind of tricky to do, but you'll figure out a way to do it. The gist is to start seeing patterns in your schedule of things that are draining, things that are recharging. And that way you just have that knowledge and you can see where you're spending your energy in very, very real time. Questions about this? Pretty straightforward. Okay. Yes, patterns, tracking. You guys know I'm a high C, so I like tracking and audits and patterns and data. But go quickly through this exercise, and if someone has a quick aha on this already, I would love to hear it. Building awareness, yeah, that's what it's all about. But take some time and go through this another time, like for an entire month or more, and see what those patterns look like. And then come back. I don't even know what chapter is next week. Let's see, what's next week? Next week is your recharging list. So we're going to go hard on that next week. And then the following week is the draining list, which I would say is even more important. All right. Oh, thank you, Larissa. I'm so excited to welcome you. Anyone have any last thoughts or questions before we wrap up today? Is this helpful? You guys think I'm nuts? All right, good. Again, thank you for being here. Please help me promote this. Christine, it's okay. If you missed the first part of the call, we record them. I'm going to put it in the Facebook group, Introverts in Real Estate, and on YouTube. Let's grow this group bigger. You guys, help me spread the word. Push it out to your offices, push it out to your friends. We'd love to see even more of us here.
I tried to get my very introverted friend to join, but she said she popped in here the last one. She goes, "There's too few people." And I haven't read the book. And I'm like, it doesn't matter. Yeah, because she likes to hide in the background. She's the girl in the back row of the training. She's like, when you get some more people, let me know. I'll rejoin. So.
All right, well, assure her that we never call on people unless they raise their hand, and you can absolutely have your camera off and not say a word. But she can catch the recordings too. Somebody asked about the Facebook page, so I just put that in the chat. It's just Introverts in Real Estate. And no worries if it's your first meeting. Welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. Everyone welcome Larissa. This is their first time with us. All right. I'm going to call it. Give you guys a couple minutes left. I need to go eat something. Have a good day. I will see you next week. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Bye bye.